Hello, everybody, and welcome to our. Hold on just a minute. Okay. Welcome to this webinar that I'm offering today to talk about an issue that I keep seeing on social media. Or I get emails, and people that are struggling. Okay. So this is normal. I've been doing this for 12 years. Um, I'm certified in many programs. I've been working with doctors and dietitians and chefs and coaches and psychologists, and still we struggle. We are humans, okay? So unless you could live in a confined place, something like maybe the True North Health Center, or somewhere where you would be given the food for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks every day, and you wouldn't get out into the real world and be tempted, but who can do that? So we just have to learn how to live with it and how to not beat ourselves up, and 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 know that giving up is not an option. Giving up is not an option, because giving up means giving up on life, giving up on your health. And most of us are doing this whole food, plant-based nutrition because we want a good quality of life. We want to be healthy. Of course, it helps to lose a few pounds, okay? So, but we're doing this because we want a good quality of life. I love what Jane Esselstyn says, and that is, I want to live long and die fast. Okay, that means live a long life, healthy, and then one day just die of age or go to sleep, and go on, but not suffer a painful, long death. The only thing we can do is take care of ourselves. And we are the only ones really who can do that. So I'm going to start by giving you some thoughts and things that have worked for me and for the many, many people that I have coached and continue to coach in a group setting. So, number one is reconnecting with your why. This may sound, obvious, but many of us, with time and isolation, we forget why we started this path of eating whole food, plant based, or starch center, or vegan, whatever you want to call it. At one point, when you started, there was a reason. And as we move along and feel better, we forget. And we're very forgetful as human beings. So I'm going to give you a little homework. The homework is to get a piece of paper and write down in one sentence why you started this whole food plant-based journey. If you feel comfortable typing it here, I would, of course, love to see what you write. But it's optional if you don't want to do it here. Otherwise, do that. And then if you want to share it with me personally, send me an email. I will be happy to respond to you. I'm going to show you a piece of paper here that shows you how to stay in touch with me. And this is my website, plantemes.com. You can click on subscribe and you can be on my email list. So my email is info, you type info, info at plantemes.com. That's my email, info at plantemes.com. My YouTube channel is under my name or Plantemas as well, and you can subscribe. I will appreciate it if you subscribe. My Instagram is also Plantemas. Plantemas means plant and music because, as you know, I'm a professional concert pianist and music, and I love to combine my love of music and plant-based cuisine. And then my Facebook page is under Dr. Starch, and when you get there, it's going to say the starch solution because I started this 12 years ago when I started Starch Solution. So that's how you can stay in touch with me. So let's go back to this little exercise. The exercise is that you will write down your why, just in one sentence. Why did you start this journey of whole food plant based? So it's very important because this is going to get us focused. Remember that um, cravings and falling off the wagon are temporary things, but your goals are forever. Okay, listen to this. Cravings and falling off, those things are temporary, but your goals are forever. So it's important to remember your goals. I help people write down long term goals, short term goals. In my 7-day program, we work on that because unless we have a map and a reason, it's really hard to stick with it. So one of you writes, I got disabled with Lyme disease and knew I had to eat healthier. Around that time, I saw Food Inc., and that's a documentary, and decided then and there that I was not going to torture animals with my meal choices anymore. Okay, very good. Excellent reason. Somebody else writes health. Somebody else writes health. When you're writing your one sentence, you've got to be specific, okay? For you mostly, but also if you're going to email me or post it in a Facebook group for in mine, so that it helps. You've health, but be specific what area of health and what will that do for you. Will it let you travel and something that you can't do now? Will it help you enjoy your grandkids so you can play with them? Will it help you get a new job? I mean, I don't know, but it needs to be something precise. Another one of you says, I wasn't prepared to accept the physical discomfort for the rest of my life from the side effects of my blood pressure meds. So I went looking for a way to reduce my blood pressure 14 years ago. Okay, very good too. These are great reasons to help with arthritis and back pain. Definitely. These are things that come with inflammation. If you keep eating foods that create inflammation, you will continue to suffer from those conditions that have inflammation. So we've got to get those things out. Somebody else says my cholesterol was 250. My doctor was talking statins. I decided the lifestyle eating healthier route. Much, much more intelligent choice. Somebody else, to reverse type 2 diabetes. I did it once, but went back to eating the wrong food, so I have to start over. And it is perfectly fine to start over. At least you have the advantage that you know how to do it, which most people don't. So you know how to do it. And I'm going to talk why we fall off, and even though we know what to do. So we'll get there. Okay, so we need to reconnect with our why. Even I, that I'm very focused and been doing this for a long time, I have to be reminded of why I am doing this. Having a journal is key. It's imperative. Okay, and so I encourage you to have and a food journal where you also write thoughts and goals. Okay, so reconnecting with your why is number one. That's why, um, that's one reason why we may fall. Number two, the power of a clean environment. Okay, your environment beats your willpower every time. No matter how much willpower you have, if it's in your mouth, like Chef AJ says, if it's in your mouth, if it's in your house, it'll end up in your mouth sooner or later. So it's important to have a clean environment. What does clean mean? Of course, we're not talking about cleaning with soap and water. We're talking about clean from highly addictive foods, um, high fat, high calorie foods, things that you know are addictive. In my house, I can have peanut butter because I don't care for it. So in my house, having peanut butter is considered clean. But for somebody else, that's not clean. That's going to take you down the road of, you're going to get lost. So you've got to really think about what are your trigger foods, and those foods cannot be in your house. If they are because you live with other people, you've got to think of some kind of strategy. Maybe you will have a separate mini refrigerator. Maybe you will have some cupboards that you're going to have a lock on it. I mean, things that will allow you to have as clean as an environment as possible. So another mini assignment is writing down some of the items that you have in your kitchen or in your house or in your car or in your office that you really need to take out. Give those to somebody you don't like. Okay. Just kidding. Okay. Just give it to some, I don't know. Or just throw them away. Sometimes we have to do that. Okay. So that's number two. Number three, which I think is the most powerful, um, you know, factor here, and that is group connection, community connection. It's the biggest predictor of success because it's not willpower. It's knowing that you belong to a group. When you're part of a group that lifts you up, that reminds you of your goals, that celebrates your triumphs, um, that gives you ideas when you struggle, being part of a group is crucial. That is why many of us who are pretty, good at this still continue to attend conferences and lectures and classes and workshops because the energy that a group gives you, whether it is in person, of course, in person is more powerful, but whether it is in person or online, it's crucial. That is my experience. So, how do you find a group? Well, you can create a group online in your area that meets once a month. You can be part of a group on Facebook or Instagram. I have a private group that's for uh, people that attend my 7-day program. But I also have a Facebook page that is public and that is called Dr. Starch. You can be part of that. But being connected, because I'm going to say something that hopefully it will stick here in your head. Maybe it will spark something. Isolation leads to slipping back. Isolation leads to slipping back. Community brings you back. Isolation is not a good thing, okay, for most people. You've got to be part of a group. So I'll talk about that later as well, but be thinking about that because I have seen the greatest percentage of success with the people that I coach and have coached who have been part of a group. Okay, just knowing that you're not alone, it's a huge thing because sometimes we do feel that we are the only ones who are doing this in our town, in our city, in at work. I mean, it seems like we're the weird ones, and we're not. Um, there is there are thousands, millions of people that eat this way. We just have to connect because stronger we definitely are together. We are stronger. I mean, being together, that's what I wanted to say. Being together makes us much, much stronger. Remember this also. One tough day, one fall off does not define you as a person. You just pick up, and we pick up each other, and we don't judge, and we continue. So it's very easy to have a bad day and to fall off the wagon, and in the morning or at lunchtime, and then just throw your hands up in the air and say, well, I messed up, so I might as well continue to mess up today, and I'll start tomorrow. No, that's the worst thing you can do. What you've got to say is, my next bite my very next bite, which can be now in 30 seconds, a fruit or something, or a slice of sweet potato, my next bite, I'm back on, or my next meal is I'm back on. Okay. So um, that's very important. Okay. Um, Also, another very useful thing to have is a list that you can print. This is going to be my gift to you today. Um, the only thing is that I don't think I can post it here, but the only thing is that you're going to have to email me because I didn't know how else to do it. I have a PDF that I call Emergency Craving Busters. So I'm going to email you that, and hopefully you can print it and you can have it in your kitchen or in your bathroom or in your bedroom, wherever. Okay, you can print several copies in your car. Ideas of what can the deter you from giving in to a food craving. So these things fall in two categories. One category is, what foods can I have that will crush my craving right now? The other category is, what activity or action can I do to crush the craving? So not everything involves food. You can distract your brain, playing a game with your brain, to distract it enough so that this craving, which is very temporary, will go away. So I'm going to give you some ideas. These are going to be in the handout. That's why I'm going to go fast. Some of these food craving crushers are fresh fruit. That's why we should always have a platter of fresh fruit on the table, on the kitchen, in the kitchen counter, in the refrigerator. Berries are exceptional, any kind of berries. Things like oranges, tangerines, grapefruit, and also apples. Those can really, detour the food craving. Frozen fruit snacks, that cold sensation will also help. Frozen mangoes, frozen blueberries, frozen banana slices. Um, let's say that you're really struggling and you want something that is really bad. Okay, I'm not gonna say things because I don't want to trigger any. Maybe you don't have it at home, like it's happened to me, but I know that I can get in the car and I can go to the convenience store, right, and get it in 5 minutes. So if I'm really struggling, then uh, I've got to have something more powerful. So, for example, having dates, fresh dates in your house, I mean, or dry, whatever. You know the dates are dry. Um, one or two sweet dates will usually do the trick. If you have to, cut it in half, put a little bit of nut butter, two max. Okay, don't you can't have this five or six of them, but that may do the trick so that you don't go and get a piece of or a whatever it is that you want. Um, Maybe things like crunchy veggies with salsa, like cucumber and carrots or broccoli with salsa, or you can make your own oil-free hummus. That can also be a great food craving crusher. Nice cream, not ice cream, but banana nice cream, blended frozen bananas is a great nice cream. Roasted chickpeas are very crunchy. They can take the place of popcorn. So roasted chickpeas, you just cook them or get them in a can and you roast them. You can, before you put them in the oven, you can sprinkle them with some spices and herbs, with even garlic powder or onion powder or smoked paprika, anything like that. Though that's great to take with you to the movie theater or have in your car if you're going to a party or things like that. Okay, there are others, and you'll get it in the handout. Now, let's talk about things that don't involve food. Action, actions, activities you can do to deter you from giving in to the craving. Well, there's one thing that we call the 5 minute delay rule. You tell yourself, you should see me sometimes in my house. You would laugh because I talk to myself. I sometimes have to scold myself like I'm 3 years old. And but you gotta do what you gotta do. So the 5 minute rule says you tell yourself, okay, it's kind of like telling yourself you're in timeout. Okay, you're gonna wait for 5 minutes and see if you still are craving that. Okay, believe it or not, giving yourself 5 minutes to take a few deep breaths, maybe going to sit down in a quiet place, maybe rubbing your forehead, 5 minutes will, crash, the craving. Um, Another action that you can take is drinking a big glass of water. Your stomach is going to get full and it's going to clean your taste buds. It's going to create a mental, shock. And you could even put some lemon in it or lime. Many times, that is all that is needed. But sometimes we have to get out of the environment. This also happens to me. I know when I can fight the cravings in my house, and I know when it's too strong and I have to get out. I have to escape, basically. So if you can, if it's possible, you go out and you walk around the block. I mean, you don't have to walk for half an hour. Just going out in the fresh air, taking a few, deep breaths, and walking around the block. If you want to walk longer, that's okay. That will many times stop the craving. Brushing your teeth, that's another activity. It just sends a message to the brain that you're done eating. So you brush your teeth, you're done eating. You even floss them so that then you think, oh no, If I eat this, I'm going to have to brush again. I'm going to have to floss again. And sometimes it's just too inconvenient and you just don't want to give in. So that's something that works. Another thing, another activity is calling a friend, a family member, a buddy, and just chatting, saying maybe you can say, "Hey, I need to talk because I'm going through a hard time." Um, you can or text, call or text. You could even have always a list of 5-minute projects. But all of this, you can see all of this requires preparation and it requires time and effort. Not everybody is willing to invest the time, the effort to do this. And, that's okay. If we're not ready, we're not ready. But if you are ready to stay committed, there are some things that you've got to do. And one of them is having a list. For example, I always know that I can go in the backyard and I can uh, plant some seeds or cut some flowers or um, prepare the soil. Sometimes when I buy celery or some, I don't know what else, celery or uh, cauliflower or broccoli. I cut the stem and I put it in water in the kitchen and it starts to sprout, and then I go and I plant it. But it could be any kind of mini project, anything that will distract you. So also, you could write down in your journal. This is very helpful, very helpful. When you write down and you say, what am I really feeling? Because most of the times when we have cravings, we're not hungry. Uh, we may be upset, we may be tired and exhausted, we may be sad, we may be lonely. I mean, what are you feeling? We're trying to medicate ourselves with food. So that's when you take out your journal and you write. So those actions can really help. I know that fruit does not satisfy your hunger. If you're really hungry, then you would eat a steamed broccoli or cauliflower or some sweet potato slices if you're really hungry. If it's a craving, which is different because cravings, we're really not hungry, that's when I'm giving you these um, ideas. Now, these ideas don't work for everybody. So you're going to have to run these mini experiments on yourself. It takes time, um, but you've got to do it if you want to do this. You're going to run experiments and see what works for you. So, okay, let's go back. And I was talking about craving crushers, and I'm going to send you this sheet that I just talked about. And then another thing that I see as way, for people to fall off the wagon is when they go to a party, for example, a birthday party or any kind of party or a potluck or something. That's when you really got to be very prepared. I've gotten good at this, but I wasn't born with that skill. I had to practice it and do it. So every time that you know that you're going to be around food that is going to be tempting, you have to take something. You're going to look nice because you're going to say, I brought something to share with everybody. If nobody eats it, that's okay. Then you eat it all if you want to. Otherwise, um, I promise you that most of the times people will eat your food first because our food looks better, smells better, and tastes better than most of the other, dead flesh stuff. So um, take I always take two things, sometimes three. I take two savory things and I take some cookies or banana bread, or I mean something that I've made um, to share. And of course, it is to share, but I know I'm taking it for me. So this takes time and preparation, but um, it really pays off. And please don't try to micro this, to practice micro decision on every little detail. You don't have to be 100% perfect at a party. I mean, that's the ideal. But sometimes we can set ourselves up for failure if we think we have to be absolutely perfect. Yes, that is my goal. But as long as I can eat the food that I took and have water with lemon or lime, or sparkling water or something like that, and if I happen to try something, it'll be small and it will be after I ate my food. Usually, after I eat my food, I am okay because then I concentrate on other activities like visiting with people. Most of the time, that's what it is. Okay, so that is very important. That will help us stay on track. Okay, then here is one more idea: have daily anchor habits. That means things that you do on a daily basis that will keep you anchored, that will keep you online, that will keep you focused. It depends. It goes from person to person. This is what we do in our 7-day program, which I'm going to talk briefly about. Um, have one or two things that are non-negotiable every day, things that you know that you're going to do even if the world falls apart, you're still going to do it. That could be like we do in my 7-day program, starting every day with a glass of water, a big glass of water, which is 2 cups. um, and or it could be starting, maybe it could be that you're going to eat an apple every day, or maybe it's going to be I mean, there are things that you decide that you're going to do every day. Maybe it could be, well, I'm going to have my 3 or 4 servings of greens. Remember that a serving of greens is about the size of your palm here. It's not much. And so you can steam a good amount to have it in your refrigerator that can last you for several days. You can put some delicious balsamic vinegar. That will clean your palate. Having greens really helps to stop cravings. What helped me most of all with cravings was sweet potatoes. For Sweet potatoes are low in glycemic index. Sweet potatoes are packed with fiber and water, so they activate sensors in our stomach that tells the brain that we're full. They're sweet. So for me, having very sweet roasted sweet potatoes, whether I mash them or I cut them in slices and put cinnamon, or I make sweet potato sandwiches, whatever it is, sweet potatoes always help me to win uh, when I had a craving. And lastly, we need to celebrate when you win. You need to allow yourself to celebrate. Um, so you had one, you know, one uh, something that really you feel proud of this week. You don't have to celebrate with food. It could be that you're saying, well, when I lose my next 2 pounds, I'm going to buy this pair of socks. I mean, it could, or I'll go to a movie. I mean, it could be something simple, but celebrating the wins. This is really best done in a group setting as well, because when you're in a group setting and we're all interacting and we are sharing our struggles, but also our wins, and it's very encouraging. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you to visualize the future. Visualization is a very powerful, activity. Imagine yourself 1 month from now feeling lighter, healthier, happier because of the decisions you're making. Um, and let's see what else. Affirmation, affirmation cards work very well with some people. Things like I am stronger with my community, or together I can do this. Things like that. When you are in the supermarket or somewhere and you want to get that wonderful vegan something, and you know that it has oil and that it's processed, it's higher in fat, higher in calories, you've got to have this. I carried this in my phone. I took a picture of this, and I carried this in my phone. I had this in my house sometimes when an idea came to eat this or that, which I didn't have in my house, but I could go get. And you're saying to yourself, if what you want to eat now had this printed on the package, would you eat it? No, you wouldn't eat it. If it told you that it's death, you wouldn't eat it. It's poison. So anything that can help, we've got to use as a tool. Okay, so let's sum up this, and then I would love to answer questions if you have any questions. It's not about being perfect. Setting the bar too high can be negative. Okay. And it's not because I like mediocrity. I'm actually the opposite. I'm a perfectionist. And that's why I suffered and I continue to suffer sometimes, because everything that I do needs to be perfect. But it's not about being perfect, it's about staying connected. You can stay connected, like I said earlier, if you want to stay connected with me, by just staying in these groups here. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my email list, and stay connected. So that's one important thing. It's not about being perfect, it's about staying connected. Every time that you show up in a group, um, or anytime you post a comment or a photo in a group, it strengthens your success muscle. So you are not doing this alone. I'm doing this every day. All of us here are doing this. We're not alone. We are a circle. We just have to feel the connection. And circles really have no end, meaning that there's no judgment here, there's only encouragement. So, about 3 years ago, I decided to do a week long detox and reset for me. But I thought that it would be fun. This was during the pandemic, to just invite people to do it with me. And many of you joined me. And it was fun. For a week, we met twice a day, once for breakfast, one for dinner. We created this strong sense of community and support. I showed you how to make meals with only 3 or 4 ingredients that are easy to find and inexpensive. I talked about the topics that matter to you. I answered your questions. Okay, so I thought that was it, but it wasn't it. You all liked it so much, I did it again. And I did it again. And here I am 3 years later, continuing to do my 7-day detox and reset program that I call the Power of Us, because we are very connected during the week, but then I don't leave you hanging there anymore. I continue. I have a group that meets every week on Sundays. And so we stay connected and we have a private Facebook group. So that connection continues during the week, every week until I do my next 7-day program, which I do now one every month. I used to charge $300 for the week. It came with all the handouts, all the replays that never expire, the 14 sessions, the orientation session. Then I realized that not everybody could afford that, even though the program is worth more than that, but not everyone could. So I decided to lower it to half of that, 150. And many of you signed up, have had incredible stories that have inspired me, are very moving. I realized that not everybody could do that. So I lowered it again. And then this year, because I can feel the pain, I remember the pain I went through, and I can feel the pain that some of you have. This year, I decided to not have a fee and to allow you to make a donation, whatever your budget allows, because everybody deserves a chance to succeed. So if you're interested in this, imagine having a group where you have somebody like me who's going to literally take you by the hand and show you in a very structured way what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, and do all of this in a group setting, which makes it much more fun and powerful. And imagine it being affordable to anything. And if you can't afford it at all, you send me an email and I will let you in. Okay. So this is how the program is working, at least for this year, is working on a donation basis. And if you're interested, just send me an email. I told you what my email is. And I will also, let's see if I can find the place here. I'm going to put, I'm going to, here, I think it's going, let's see. Here is the link to the page on my website where you can read about this 7-day program called The Power of Us. And if it interests you, at the bottom of the page, you can sign up. The next one is coming up on this month on the 21st. So once you sign up, I will send you all the info on the preparation and the link. And I hope that you will give yourself this gift and at least the chance to say, okay, I tried something that really works, and see what happens after that. So one more time, and then please ask questions. This is the website, and these are all the ways to stay in touch. And of course, many of you know that my friend Shada and I wrote a book. It's called the Live Your Healthiest Life. This is the story of Shada and my story. And what is different about this cookbook is that as we tell the story, we put recipes that go with the story. So you get to know us as real people, and the recipes that come from our parents and grandparents and great grandparents. And it's a book that has recipes, of course, from the US and Mexico, but it has recipes that are Persian based, Argentine based, from Spain, from Italy, from Germany. It's a wonderful book. So if you want to support us, this book is $20. It's available on Amazon. And even though the bonus has finished, I will offer it to this group. If you get the book, you can send us an email, and we will send you this PDF that is called Shada's and Gustavo's Secret Persian and Argentine Recipes. Some of the best recipes that didn't make it to the book. And so that is going to be a gift, okay? You just have to send us the email with proof of purchase, and we'll send that. Okay, so this webinar was to really help you, give you ideas, some strategies to stay on track and plant-based. Sometimes you may not be able to stay whole food, which is one of the main issues why people don't lose weight, is because they eat plant-based, but they're not eating whole foods. So, but as long as you can stay plant-based, at least, then you are winning the game. But it would be better to be whole food. And that's what we do in the 7-day program. Everything is whole food. Okay, so you can type questions here, or if you don't mind being recorded, because this is being recorded, and you want to unmute your microphone and ask a question or say a comment, please feel free to do that now. Okay, I always love to answer questions. Um, I would love it if you left the webinar today with your question or questions answered. Okay, my goal is to make every recipe in your book this year. Ah, yes, yes, please do. That's what I did with the Start Solution. That's how I started. I came home with like 200 recipes, and my goal was to make each one of them, and I did. And it was amazing. Okay. All right. Any questions?
Sure, I'll ask a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, hello, by the way, again. How do you deal with friends who are not on the program and they only want to center everything around food? No, you have to celebrate your birthday. We have to celebrate your retirement. Do you want to go out for lunch? And it makes it difficult sometimes when you don't, even if I'm not on the program, but I don't want to do those things. And maybe I'm not interested in doing other things like the movies. It's not really an alternative for me to suggest, but that's how people they sit down and talk. You want to go for coffee. I mean, I've suggested going for a coffee sometimes. People want to go and have lunch.
All right, right. Well, that is a very good question, and it is not an easy. It's as easy as it seems. So, okay, I'll give you some ideas. It this requires a lot more work, but I just say, why don't you all come to my house? So I end up inviting them to my house, and where I know I everything I cook everything, and so I know that I have. And I said, if you want to bring something, but I'm going to cook. And you know that you have the food, you feel comfortable, you're in your environment. The only issue with that is that, yes, you have to have people in your house. I have to make sure that it looks presentable, clean, and I have to cook, so that takes time and effort. Otherwise, when you go out, say, okay, if it's for your birthday, let's say, uh, okay, I'll go, but I'm going to choose the restaurant. Okay, so now again, this comes up over and over again. Our way of life, I mean, the world is not made for this way of eating, at least not yet. So we have to spend extra time and effort. So I go and I look at the restaurants available in my area, and I go online, I look at the menu, and I decide what am I going to order ahead of time. So I am not under the pressure right there to choose something. That is huge when you go somewhere and you know exactly what you're going to order. Sometimes I order many times, all I order is sides. So I make my own meal. I have a baked potato, I have some steamed veggies or a salad. I just make my own meal. Um, and another thing is that you can do that I do it as well. It's not as fun, but you go and you eat ahead of time. So this technique of pre-eating is old. It's been around for a long time, and you just eat a full meal at home. So you get there and you're not hungry, and you just order something small like a salad. It is boring, I admit it. And you see the food, you smell the food, it still calls you know, your attention. But eating out, celebrating eating out is a challenge that many of you may not be ready yet. You may not be strong yet. So um, uh, you'll just have to avoid it. They may not like it, but you're going to have to say, you know what? I am in a program right now. I'm dealing with some health issues that I want to take care of without any prescription drugs or any interventions. And I really can't do it for now. And so if anybody else here has other ideas that's worked for you, but that's those are the only things that I have implemented and been have worked pretty well for me. I have tried your program but have fallen off the wagon. Do you still have to join and pay again? You do, but like I said just a minute ago, this year the program is on a donation basis. So some people donate what the regular price. Others donate $10. I mean, and I've had people that have emailed me and say, "I am going through a really hard time. Do you? Is it okay if I attend with no pain?" Yes. Okay. Um, I would like to know in that case that you're really committed, and I ask you to send me an email, and I ask you some questions. Okay. So you can this year take advantage because this I'm just doing this year, and I still have 8 more programs this year. So sign up. It's on my website. I put the website here a minute ago, but I'm going to put it again in case you don't see it. And then Cheryl says, Alicia, did you eat the Start Solution way and was finally able to burn fat, or did you work out a lot? Well, that's another good question because the Start Solution will only take you to a certain point. It's a wonderful way to get started because you don't feel so constrained. But at some point, if you still want to lose weight and you're not losing, then there are a few things that you've got to eliminate, at least for a while. I'm pretty much an expert on the Start Solution, so I can really uh, help you. If you want to email me, I can give you a few other ideas. Do you incorporate a fasting? Yes, in the 7-day program, and then in my own life, we try a mini fast so that people can see how it's not complicated, it's not difficult, and it is safe. There is a certain amount of hours for it to be safe so that anybody can do it. It is not recommended that you do a long fast without medical supervision. So I don't recommend that. But what I recommend is that at about 6 p.m., maybe 7 at the latest, you stop eating. And then basically the fasting happens during the night when you're sleeping. You get up the next day, you drink your glass of water, and then you do your best to delay your breakfast as for a couple of hours. So let's say that you stop eating at 6. At 6 a.m. is 12 hours. Okay. So if you can delay your breakfast to 9 a.m., 12, so you're now in the 15 hour. So 14, 15, 16 hours is safe. And if you can do a moderate amount of moving, like a very a walk for 30 minutes or so, that's when the body has switched to burning fat. So that is a really good thing to do. You can start by doing this mini fast once a week. You're going to see how it's easy. Then you can go ahead and do it maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times, and then you might even do it every day at some point. So that is yeah, that's very helpful. Okay. Gustavo taught me how to eat for max weight loss. Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's not as complicated as it seems, but it is important. I have to say that I have invested my time and my money um, during these 12 years to stay connected and to continue learning. Uh, Continuing learning is also very important. One way to stay connected is while you're doing dishes, while you're cooking, while you're walking, be listening to Dr. Lyle, to Dr. Goldhammer, to Dr. McDougall, to webinars that I've done with them, I mean, keep learning, keep reminding yourself that is another way to stay strong, to continue learning. Okay. Any other comments, questions? No? Okay. Well, thank you for attending today. I enjoy giving you ideas. I gave you my my email, which I'm going to type it here one more time. It's info@emus.com. You are welcome to email me. I don't have, unfortunately, I don't have a secretary or an assistant. So I answer your questions, your emails personally. Sometimes, most of the time, I answer them fast, but be patient if one day it takes me a few hours because I'm busy. But feel free to email me with any questions, comments, doubts, anything like that. And if you want the handout that I mentioned, then please email me and I'll send it because I just didn't know how to do this here, at least this time. So you're going to have to email me. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And I'll see you either in my 7-day program or in another webinar that I plan on doing soon, maybe a cooking demo. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. It helps me. I'm uploading new cooking demos almost weekly. And I'm reactivating my Instagram account, which is also under Plantemas. Okay. Bye bye. Have a great end of the weekend. Bye bye.